This is Lord Mafka, aka Rogan Osrine, and in tonight's video, I want to talk about the societal dictatorship of policing male emotions. And I want to shout out Jax Grayson, 1986, for this video topic. Shouts out to you and the rest of you guys tuning in. But without further ado, let's get into tonight's video. Now, society as a whole that we still live in, it still goes by these negative and ridiculous standards that men should not be emotional. They should always hold things in and suppress things. And I know you would have some people argue and say that it's gotten better over the time with men being able to voice their opinions and have an outlet for them to express themselves. And this is only true in a very few ways. Because if you still look at today's world, if a man talks about how horrible the dating market is, if he is talking about the non-existential void of existence and how everything feels meaningless that we do in today's world, and how he thinks that he doesn't have a place, a purpose in this lifetime, he is immediately going to be told that he has a mental issue. He is going to be disrespected by the people around him that are supposed to care about him, because these people believe that he should be sacrificing his own well-being for them to better their own lives and society. And this is the type of sickness that we see going on today still. So when we talk about how men's emotions are being policed, we have to really start looking inside of ourselves as men. Because the only people that should be dictating how we feel about things is ourselves. And from an early age, you were going to be taught that you need to feel how the majority of people feel. You need to feel how your parents feel. You need to feel how your peers want you to feel on certain topics. And these are things that can be very consequential and devastating to your life going forward. A lot of us have low self-esteem. A lot of us can't look ourselves in the mirror because we understand that we made certain decisions that really made our lives even more difficult, to where we suppressed certain emotions, to where we knew that we should have stopped talking to these type of people that we were around that were toxic towards our well-being. We knew that we should have stopped talking to that woman who already was showing that she didn't like us whatsoever. And we already knew that we shouldn't have had anything to do with our family when we got to the age of not being able to deal with them anymore. We could have had the choice to get away from them, but we chose not to. We chose to stay around and tolerate the negativity. We chose to stay around and tolerate all of this dramatic nonsense because we feel some type of nobility towards it. Because we were taught that in order for us to have value, we have to go through hardship as a man. We have to never show emotions. We have to always be tough. No guts, no glory. You know, and this is the saying that a lot of people will say for men. If they feel deterred, if they feel discouraged from doing something, they will tell you, oh, no guts, no glory. You have to be a real man, be a rock solid soul and tough through it, be stoic. These are all the things that they tell you, when in reality, these are the things that really hurt you in the long run, especially when you are overdoing these things. Now, obviously, as a man, especially in today's world, and always, you should never be too overly emotional, because that can be something that's used against you as a weapon. You should always be calculating your word responses to people. You should always be analyzing the situations you're in. But at the same time, you need to understand how you feel inside, because your emotions are something that is sacred to you. No one else around you should be telling you as a grown man, especially how you should feel about things. I mean, this is ridiculous that we still have to tolerate a society telling us that we should have this type of mindset towards this situation that's going on in a certain country. We should have this type of mindset going on regards to what's going on in the lives of most men in today's world. And this is outrageous. So the best way for you to start combating and opening yourself up to your own emotions is, for one, you have to stop caring about what people think about you. You shouldn't care about what your family thinks. You shouldn't care about what peers thinks, because I can tell you right now, most likely these people don't want to see you succeed. They want the worst for you. Because these people at the beginning, if they actually cared, they would have actually put something in your life for you to feel safe, to have an outlet for you to open up emotionally at times. but they didn't do any of these things. So you have to stop caring about how the society views you for having a certain premise on a situation or subject that goes against their ideology. You know, you have to stand on your own 2 feet and be willing to sacrifice for what you believe in. Don't sacrifice for what other people believe in. Sacrifice for what you believe in. Because I believe we have been taught to be selfless to the extent to where it's towards our own demise of not being able to even have a individual outlook on things. So this society that we live in, especially in modern day gynocentric world that we have to tolerate, it is going to do its best to really deter you from speaking on certain subjects. It's going to try and brainwash you and make you think that you're an evil person, all because you feel angry, all because you feel a very deep sadness inside of yourself about how your life has went. They're going to try and deter you and tell you that you're wrong for feeling like this. Now imagine you're not even safe in your own emotions. You're not even safe in your own mind when you're around people. So what makes you think that you holding it all in is actually going to help you? This is why it's so important to take up certain activities that allow you to have creative forms of expression, to be able to express yourself emotionally. This is why it's important, regardless of what people think, you need to speak your opinion, because we are all going to view life differently in some way. And the only thing that really matters at the end is how you were going to survive out here. That's all that's really ever mattered. Everything else about how other people feel about politics, how they feel about what's going on in the other places of the world, and some countries that are having issues with making money to sustain their economy, not being able to have enough food to feed their families, trying to tell you what political standards that this place should have and you should agree with it. None of that crap matters at the end of the day, because the only person who has to live with themselves is you. And this is why you have to be getting in touch with your emotions, because this is an instinct that you need immediately when you were growing up as a man, actually, because this is how a lot of men get played when they are out here socializing with people, especially when it comes to dating. This is how a lot of men get overshadowed and they allow things to sneak up on them, because you already know on the inside that I should have quit talking to this woman. I already know that this isn't going to go anywhere. What's stopping you from hitting the block button? It's the suppression of your emotions. You keep suppressing this all for this positive ideal. Or it could be getting rid of a family member out of your life and never socializing with them again. You already know that they're a person who doesn't inspire you to do anything better with your life, but yet you won't quit talking to them because of this false nobility that has been programmed into you. And this is something that you really have to break. You have to dispel this from your mind. Get this out of yourself now. Because the more you keep going about the same path that you're on right now of self-destruction, of trying to make sure other people are all right over your own well-being, you're always trying to not be combative in a sense socially, to where you won't give your opinion, you won't argue back with people. When you were doing things like that, when you were passive, very passive, people will pick up on that and they will see that you were able to be bullied. You're able to be punked around. And you should never have that type of mentality or want to give that off. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to stand up for the ideals, the belief you have, regardless of how people feel about it. Now, you should always be using discretion in some few situations to where you possibly can end up getting physically hurt, or you can possibly have your reputation ruined for, let's say, if you're working at a certain important job, or if you don't want your notoriety ruined in a certain social place. Then yes, you would have to use some discretion in how you feel. And obviously, in a way, you're using deception. As Machiavelli said, the man who does not use deception, he is an open prey to be destroyed. So you have to learn how to use deception as well. But within that deception, you need to understand that you are in check with your own emotions. Because if you are not doing that, then you're setting yourself up for a big heap of failure. And the only person that the boomerang of despair is going to come back and hit across the head is you. So Be very careful out here, guys, because we live in a society that really wants to dictate your emotions always as a man, and police you and shame you at every moment and gaslight you into thinking that you're the demon that needs to be settled in to be destroyed. You need to get rid of a part of yourself from being emotional to benefit the rest of society, when in reality you need to be in touch with that. You need to be getting in touch with those emotions as strength to give you the fuel to make it to another day. Listen to the dark side of your emotions, integrate that within yourself. Use that to make more creative things out of your life, from all of the misfortune that you've been in, all of the state of decays that you have experienced consciously. You have to learn how to mold that into something that is your armor of protection against the world of tyrants, against the world of people that are trying to tell you that you are not worthy of having a peaceful type of life in a society that is hell already. So if you're going to suffer in this world already, you should already be at peace with your own emotions and know how you feel. And that's all it really is just to increase suffering when you think about it. The whole suppression of male emotions is to create more suffering for the economy, for other people's entertainment, and for this circus clown of a world to go on. But once we start getting out of that is when we actually get back to our own inner power as men. So be careful out here, guys, and get in touch with your emotions, and don't be ashamed about how you feel. Just make the right choices and make sure that whatever you're feeling is just for you to feel, and you shouldn't care about how other people think about it. Who cares? But you guys take care. Like and subscribe if you're new. Tell what else you guys want me to elaborate on in the comment section. I highly appreciate it. I'll hopefully be getting my sinus surgery soon. This has been brutal, man, for the few days. But I'll see you guys in the next video. And like I always tell you guys, stay away from the modern woman. Thank you.